Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the government rejects a United Nations Council resolution seeking to probe the human rights situation in the country.
Let's answer a Caucasian asking question, a white man there. You must be stupid. Who are you? I am a Filipino. We have our courts here. You have to bring me somewhere else. I would not like that.
President Rodrigo Duterte slams the move and eyes cutting off diplomatic ties with Iceland.
Until now, he's in wonderment why Iceland is doing that. He can only speculate, or the two of us can only speculate that maybe some activist, either from this country or elsewhere, are feeding Iceland with the wrong information.
Also, 3 years into the relentless war on drugs,
we filed more than 300 cases against our personnel. Compared nga lang dun sa 82 cases o 82 charges filed against our personnel initiated by the Commission on Human Rights. We don't need probably anybody or even especially yung International Human Rights Committee, para magkandak pa.
Is there a need to overhaul and change the campaign to prevent so-called collateral damage?
Ikaw ba, pulis ka, gusto mo may bata matamaan? Never. Kasi ikaw may anak ka rin. Hindi mo gusto man mangyari na ganun. Pero, happens. During operation, happens.
This is a State of the Nation address special. Philippine National Police Chief General Oscar Albayalde joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. President Rodrigo Duterte remains unfazed by criticisms from human rights groups 3 years into the controversial war on drugs. The president said that he intends to preserve the gains of his war on drugs, which include a lower crime rate. The president says that totally eradicating the drug problem is still a long way off because supplies continue to enter the country. Also, a resolution was adopted at the United Nations Human Rights Council, or UNHRC, seeking to probe the country's human rights situation. But Malacanang and other government officials reject the move, saying that we have a working justice system. Let's go straight to the source of the story. Philippine National Police Chief General Oscar Albayalde. General, good to have you again. Maraming salamat for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So you already said that we don't need an international body to look into the human rights situation in the country.
Yes, I think so, Pinky.
Why, sir?
Well, we have a perfectly working judicial system in our country, and we have a constitution that protects our individual rights. So why do we need a foreign body here? And what's going on here, our war on drugs, is basically a domestic problem. This can all be addressed by our AFP and the PNP and other law enforcement agencies. And if you will see, yung tinatawag nila, sinasabi nila, the human rights violations, where these are all just allegations until now. No? These are all just allegations until now.
When you look into the numbers, sir, it's not hard to say that there are different numbers coming from different sources. Yes. Just once and for all, let's look into the numbers of the Philippine National Police, which you call real numbers. Yes. Give us that, sir.
Well, the difference between their numbers and our numbers, ours is substantiated by records. Meron kaming record na isa-isa dito. Based on our records, out of the more than 158,000 police operations that we conducted, we arrested a total of 248,359 suspects already, compared to the 6,739 deaths during police operations. This is merely 2.7%.
Can you repeat that, sir? What were the deaths again?
6,739.
Okay.
If you compare that to the persons that we arrested of the more than 240,000, this is merely 2.7%. And this is not being highlighted. What is being highlighted is the data or the number that they always say 27,000. We really don't know where they get the 27,000. They cannot even give us a list of that 27,000.
That's why it was Secretary Salpanello also saying that Iceland could have been given the wrong information with regards to the
wrong
number.
information that is not substantiated or covered by data.
I'm going to get to that, sir. But first here is you're saying it's 2.7% deaths out of the 240,000 arrested, and you're saying that this is not highlighted. I guess on the flip side, sir, they're going to say 2.7% is still a big number.
Oh, well, if you...
One death
probably
is
it's-
one too many,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, of course. But remember what, in one of the... one death is too many. Remember I still remember in one of the interviews of the former Mr. Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, when he said, when you are trying to save millions of lives, then one death is too kind.
Yun naman ang opposite nung one death
Yes.
is too many. So if you are to say 2.7%, how would you describe that? Is that a very small percentage?
Well, we're not saying it's big or small, no. But what's important here is all these deaths are being investigated, Pinky.
Okay.
There are, we have the IAS that conducts a motu proprio investigation in all the police operations, especially so if there are deaths involved.
When you talk about IAS, sir, that is, of course, the
Internal Affairs Service.
Of the Philippine National Police. You're saying that this is being investigated, sir. How many is the number on the death under investigation or homicide under investigation? Because that's another thing that we need to talk about.
Yes, those that I don't have the exact number as of this time. But those, they say that homicide under investigation, this includes everything already. Those included like the deaths because of homicide, the deaths of reckless imprudence resulting
Road
in homicide,
rage,
road
land
rage,
dispute.
yes, land dispute, grudges, and all, no?
Lahat ng krimen,
yes,
pasok dito.
Yes, lahat ng krimen. That's why probably when they say of 27,000, baka ito lahat linamp nila, no? And it's unfair when you say that these are all drug-related cases.
Dun sa deaths under or homicide under investigation, sir, ilan ho kaya yung drug-related? Would you have a number?
Well, my estimate probably would not, probably with all the what, if ever we have those lists, probably around drug-related. In my personal estimate, probably a little less than 3,000. If my estimate would be right.
So if we were to add that, sir, yung deaths related to drugs is about
But that
6,000.
doesn't mean that those 3,000 are EJKs and are state-sponsored. Now remember, when we started this war on drugs, there were sectors that took advantage of it. No, even NGOs, even yung sinasabi nilang parang vigilante group.
Sectors such as that, yung vigilante group, or those even involved in drugs.
Or
Okay.
even those involved in drugs, even syndicates. No, even syndicates. No, so it's unfair that we say that these deaths are state-related.
Because there could have been the other side
And these are all
actually
being
perpetrating.
investigated. I just don't know the percentage of the case solved here and case cleared. No, we have the case solved and the case cleared where we able to arrest and identify those perpetrators.
Ito ho kasi yung sa numbers that's being coming out, sir, and it's good that it's coming from you that it's 6,700 deaths and about 3,000. Is it deaths or homicide under investigation? What is the
Because
PNP
these
using?
deaths under investigation, we are covered with the confidentiality clause also.
Okay.
We follow certain security protocols also. No, we cannot just divulge this in public. It's because we have to protect the identity of these people also, and also to protect also our personnel. Now, we have facility security, we have personal security, we have document security that we have to follow also.
When we talk about the 20,000, sir, it doesn't seem like this it just came out of nowhere. Here's a point raised by Verifiles, that during the Supreme Court, during the Supreme Court in 2018, the SC asked the government to explain. So the Supreme Court asked actually the government to explain the 20,000 deaths in the drug war, which was based on the Duterte administration's 2017 report. And it says this: the Duterte administration's 27 year-end report states that 3,967 drug personalities died in anti-drug operations from July 1 to November 27, 2017. That would be a year and a half since the president took office. Pagkatapos po nun nakasulat, sir, so maliban doon sa 3,967, nakasulat po na 16,000 plus homicide cases under investigation from July 1 to September 27, 2017. Sinabi po, this is a total of 20,000 deaths during the Duterte administration's anti-drug war, on an average of 39 deaths every day. Here is where it says, sir, this court wants to know why so many deaths happened as expressly reported under the section Fighting Illegal Drugs of the Duterte Administration 2017 year-end report. It seems like dyan po nang gagaling yan. Can you explain this, sir?
Well,
Pero
probably
hindi
that's-
pa ata kayo yung PNP Chief
Yes,
noong
that's
time
the
na yun.
PNP
Di ba
Chief.
still General Bato?
Yes. Kaya nga, the deaths under investigation, these are probably in
Lumped.
one lump, Naka-lump siguro ito. That's why, kami naman on our side, the Philippine National Police actually complied with the requirements of the Supreme Court through the Office of the Solicitor General. These were all submitted to the OSG, Pinky. So hanggang ngayon, nandito pa. Every time that we have police operations, kailangan namin magbigay ng data, we give it to them. We give it to the OSG.
But it could have originated from that, sir, because of the data in the War on Drugs 2017 report. Kaya ho sinabi ng Supreme Court, paliwanag sa amin, bakit 20,000 deaths ito?
Well,
Hindi ho ba?
it has been already discussed between the Supreme Court and the Office of the Solicitor General.
Okay, so now we're looking at this number. You're clearing this up, sir, and you're saying that an investigation is ongoing. There seems to be one agency, there is rather one agency that could have helped in the investigation, and that's the Commission on Human Rights. The problem, they're saying, is that they're not getting the PNP's full cooperation. We'll be talking about that after the break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Philippine National Police Chief General Oscar Albayalde. Sir, doon sa sinasabi ninyong 6,000 plus deaths, ilan na ho ang napanagot na pulis na sangkot dito?
Well, if you will see our data, kung kami lang din, when we talk of human rights, we have filed 376 cases against our own people since July 1, 2016. And the total involved personnel here is 1,019. Compared to the 415 that was filed by 415 personnel that were charged by the Human Rights Commission. We even filed much of
about the
our
Commission on
personnel,
Human
yes,
Rights.
1,019 on our part, initiated by the PNP, compared to the 419
So,
personnel
300...
charged by the Commission on Human Rights.
So, sinasabi niyo po 367, you've filed cases against 367 police officers.
Against
Tama po ba?
1,019.
Which is about 30%
personnel.
of those suspected of involvement, no, sir? That's about 30%. And charged could be, obviously, case still ongoing.
Yes, yes, case is still ongoing, but we have already dismissed 422 of our personnel for being involved in illegal drugs.
When you say dismissed, sir?
Dismissed because of
Floating
the
status?
positive. No, dismissed from
Dismissed
the service.
talaga.
Positive because of the use of drugs. No, and we have dismissed another 2,400 of our personnel for being involved in so many cases like extortion. No, yung laglag kaso. No, these are kidnapping and other cases, homicide and murder.
General, what do you say to this knowledge or this perception na tuwing meron pong namamatay, dalawa ho yung tatanungin ko dito, tuwing may namamatay, simple lang nakikita nila, isang patay na lifeless body na may katabing 45 or 38 caliber pistol at may dalawang sachet ng shabu.
Well, this is basically, the war on drugs is on the streets kasi. Nasa kalsada yan eh. And they say, bakit puro mahirap? It's because, in drugs, ang victim dito are the mahirap also. The victim dito are the mahirap.
So they're the
very
victims.
vulnerable. It's because they think that they're depressed, no? At
There's injustice.
wala silang makuhang trabaho, and then they go to illegal drugs.
Sila na po yung biktima, sila pa yung
Biktima talaga
napapatay.
dito. Yeah, they're the victims here. And remember, the Philippine National Police is a territorial unit. Remember that it's the PIDEA that's involved in probably yung mga malalaking mga high-value targets talaga. Although we have our own accomplishments on high-value targets. Pero basically, ang nakikita ng ating mga police, because we are a territorial unit, no? Usually, yung mga nasa barangay talaga.
But here's the thing, sir. If you call them victims because sila yung nagiging punteriya ng droga, dahil sila yung nagiging nagda-drugs dahil sa kahirapan ng buhay, sila din huwag napapatay eh.
Oh yes, it's because many of us, remember, we also have, ito din palagi natin sinabi, we also have a problem on the proliferation of loose firearms. And many Filipinos, they really love guns. I really don't know why. No? Yung mga Pilipino, a mere carpenter, kung minsan pag may pera siya, first thing that he comes out on his mind is to buy a gun.
Was there any study on why this is happening? Why is that so
Probably we're so
here?
westernized, probably. Isa yun. That's one, no? Lahat tayo, gusto tayo, we want to own a gun.
So, how do you feel that you answered my second question, sir, na palagi na lang pong mahihirap ang nagiging biktima nito? Big fish that you can be proud of, ilan na ho kaya ang maituturin yung sindikato o big fish na naaresto na
Well,
because
I
of the
also
war on
have
drugs?
numbers here that that is broken down to first year, the high value targets that were neutralized by the PNP. On the first year, out of the more than 7,000 that we have on the list, we were able to neutralize more than almost 6,000 on the first year.
High
That
value
was in
targets, sir?
Yes, high value targets. The high value targets does not include only yung mga Chinese. Ano to baka sabihin natin na puro ganon, no?
course.
The high value probably yung sa isang barangay baka siya ang sole distributor. That's a high value target.
So, let's clear that up, sir. Kahit sa barangay, na kilalang, sabihin po natin, kunwari, pusher, na big-time pusher, high-value target
Yes,
na ho
the
siya.
street pusher, when we say it's about 1 gram, 0.001, yung mga, you know, yung mga ganon. The high value targets, if you are the main source in that area,
Okay.
we consider that high value
And that's
targets.
6,000,
Yes, yes, that's in the what we have the 7,190 na base namin. We already neutralized almost 6,000 of these high value targets.
And when you mean
since
neutralize,
July 1.
what is neutralize,
That
sir?
includes, of course, arrest. No,
Arrest and death.
let me clarify that. That does not only include that we have arrested 2,310 out of that 3,000, and those again, those that died in police operations are merely 171. So some went out of the country, some you cannot locate them anymore, some surrendered also.
So when you say that and you give that accomplishment, sir, that high-value targets, neutralized, whether naaresto,
neutralized
napatay.
kasi they say, when you say neutralized, they say it's, yes.
Yeah, so we're clearing that up, sir.
Yes.
So, pwedeng napatay, pwedeng naaresto, 6,000, sir. And yet, there's still that perception that the war on drugs is anti-poor.
It's
How do you
because, as I've
dissuade-
said earlier, ang victim dito are the poor, dito sa drugs natin. And sino bang punteriya ng drug supplier dito? It's the poor. And how many percentage is the poor in our society, no? Ito ang market eh. This is the biggest market is the poor, no? Kaya sabi nga nila, is it anti-poor? No.
Paano yun? No. Pero yung nahuhuli o yung pamilya ng biktima, sinasabing na-set up yung kanilang kapamilya, sir.
Well, that is the very reason that these things are all being investigated. No, itong lahat na ito, these are, I can assure you, Pinky, that these are all being investigated. Remember, we castigated more than 14,000 of our personnel already. Yes, as I've said earlier, 2,400 were dismissed. Another more than 4,000 were suspended. And another less than 400 were demoted.
Here's the thing, sir. Why are you not fully cooperating with the Commission on Human Rights? I didn't say that, sir. It was one of the commissioners who told us that during our interview Wednesday. Let's listen to Commissioner Gwen Pimentel Gana.
We've been engaging with the duty bearers, particularly example PNP, when it comes to the drug war. So we've been asking them for records, and they've been saying that, oh, we've, persecuted these policemen, etc., etc. So give us the records. And so far they have not. They've told us, yes, we will. And some responses, they did give us some records, but it's not the records that we wanted. Why don't you share it with us so that, CHR as an independent body can actually come up with a very credible statement on the state of human rights in the Philippines.
You're not sharing, sir.
Well, that's what they say. No, remember, Pinky, we have our Human Rights Office already. That is the very reason also why we created the Human Rights Office down to the provincial level, city level. No? Meron na kami mga human rights officers ngayon that will coordinate directly to the Commission on Human Rights. So I think that's not totally true na we're not cooperating or ano. Depende kasi dun sa binibigyan na. Remember, there's also that common perception, especially on the PNP and the AFP side. Parang kasing the human rights is always looking into the offenses of the PNP and the AFP, no? And any, like in the martial law in Mindanao, they always say there's human rights violation. But in fact, there's not a single complaint filed in the Human Rights Commission for violation of the martial law in Mindanao. So ito yung ito yung relationship kasi.
And because of that, sir, you are withholding
not really
records
actually
from them?
withholding. We give information if we're not violating the confidentiality clause. Remember, as I've said, we also have security protocols sa Philippine National Police. And we leave that up also to the executive department, no? We leave that to the executive department, the OSG, for example, yung sila ang mismo and they said, and I heard that they can conduct motu proprio investigation,
yes,
right?
Sir.
So if you can conduct a motu proprio investigation, why would you need the data from us when you can go directly to the
Which they
victim?
do, though. Yeah, they do that.
Why do you need now data from us when you can get direct information from the relatives?
I guess, sir, the thing is, why is there this, how would I describe it, this behavior, this atmosphere between the PNP and the CHR?
No, it's because probably, I really don't know. Probably it's, over the years, no, na-develop kasi yun. It's because every time,
Tinitingnan nila yung...
Yes, palaging pinagbibintangan nila kami. They blame us of human rights violations that are really fictitious, not really real, not substantiated by records.
And
Wala man actually. Like what I'm saying here, very clear, no? Yung sinasabi lang human rights violations in Mindanao because of the martial law. There's no such thing as human rights violations. Nasaan yung mga human rights violations of in Mindanao because of the martial law?
Hence, we will withhold some
And every
records.
time, kasi isa pa, if a victim is a police or a military officer, you could not even see them conducting a motu proprio investigation
on
or
them,
even
on the
control
police.
with the relatives, for that matter.
So parang you're saying, what? It's
You give us-
one-sided?
They say it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And we also deserve our rights. We also have our rights as police. Although, sabi ko nga, the risk of life and limb is part of our
You're the protector of the
oath.
people.
Yes, yes. So walang problema sa amin yun. But you see, you have to see the balance, no? Yung impartiality.
We'll be taking another short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. The state of security and preparations for President Rodrigo Duterte's fourth State of the Nation address. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Philippine National Police Chief General Oscar Albayalde. Sir, the State of the Nation address of the President. You have what, 14,000 police personnel?
Yes, more than 14,000 personnel to be deployed only in NCR.
And parang yung 7,000 ho ata ay nandun mismo sa vicinity?
Yes, in the vicinity. This is probably more than the almost more than 4,000 when I was the RD of NCRPO.
Sir, is there anything new about plans and preparations for Monday's SONA?
Well, of course, probably the security protocols now, the security measures are stricter. That's one. Of course, because of the, yung Sulu bombing, Sulu incident,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Kailangan natin talagang, and we added personnel, both uniform and non-uniform. Ibig sabihin yung mga intelligence operatives natin in the area.
Sir, anong bawal? Because kayo na nga nag-mention because of the first Filipino suicide bombing.
Well, number one, randomly, they'll be checking on the backpacks, on the bags of the rallies, no, protesters. That's
And
one.
siguro
That's
kung
for
may
their own
vests,
protection.
sir, no?
Yes.
Yeah. For everyone's protection,
Yes.
actually.
Yes.
All right, yun at least stricter there, and 7,000 around that vicinity. But there are no known threats?
No threats as of this time, Pinky, yes.
No reports of threats on that. Sir, when we talk about the PNP's accomplishment, could you give us, because I heard you talk about the crime rate
Yes.
actually going down,
Yes.
sir. Tell us more about that.
Well, if you compare the crime rate during the time of President Duterte from 2016, it continuously going down or on a downtrend, no? We started in 2016 with more than 500,000 or 584,883 crime volume. That went down to 10.9% to 520,641. No, and then it went down again in 2018 for about 6%. Now it's still going down for about 5.6%. If we compare this first semester to the first semester of last
year?
Yes.
And what would you attribute this to, sir?
Well, of course, again, we can attribute it to this campaign against illegal drugs. No? Ito yung sinasabi nga natin. We focus on illegal drugs. And why is it this crime volume is continuously going down? So there has to be an effect. No? There has to be an effect. We have to accept this.
Even if there was a report saying that we're the fourth most dangerous country.
Well, that's not really that's not true. Remember, the probably hindi natin alam where they got that survey, no? And we don't even I don't know the group that conducted the survey actually. But I think mas credible pa yung HSBC expat survey. Remember, these are expats. They live from their country, and they compare it now that they're living in the Philippines. They say that the Philippines is the 24th, the safest place to live, work, and do business. 23rd ang US, and 26th ang China. We are even better than China.
And we're right after the United States.
Right after US.
So you will dispute that, obviously, the ACLED report. ACLED, of course, is Armed Conflict Location and Event Data. From my understanding, sir, it's an NGO, I think in the United States, sir. So, okay, be that as it may, sir, I forgot to ask you this. In the event, sir, na dumating po yung mag-iimbestiga on the human rights situation in the country, would the PNP be willing to share records to any of the foreign investigators?
Well, as I've said earlier, we'll leave that to the executive department, to the higher authorities, of course. We don't want to tread on foreign political diplomacy here. So, kung talagang they will ask us through proper channel, of course, to the executive department, then we will, of course, we'll fully cooperate.
Thank you to Philippine National Police Chief General Oscar Albayalde. He's retiring in November. So we're gonna have you again before that. Maraming salamat po always sa inyo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.